Okay, Meshara Tova, we continue. Uperek Yutret, Pasuk Vav. Shlomo HaMelech says the following: Siftei Kesil, the lips of the fool, Yavo'u Beriv, bring fights, quarrel. Upiv Mahalumot Yikra, and his mouth is a calling for fights. Says the Gaon, Shlomo HaMelech introduces now a new facet to the Ksil. Until now, we've seen the foolishness of the Ksil, his behavior, his words, his way of thinking. But here comes the Ksil and comes the Gaon and tells us that the Ksil has another characteristic to him, is that he looks to always instigate machloket. The Ksil lives off the stress in a relationship, builds a momentum of problems. But the problem is, says the Gaon, is that the people around him get to a point where they cannot tolerate this behavior anymore and always being attacked. So they if they were silent, yes, for a long time, they get to a place where they don't want to be silent anymore. Because the Ksil meharfam tamid always belittles them, attacks them, yes. It says umi yachol isazot, who is the person that can tolerate, this type of relationship and this behavior. So where does that lead to? It leads to physical reaction, physical fight. And he says, "V'zeu upiv lemahalumot yikra." That at the end, his mouth, right, is what causes, is what leads to mahalumot, right? Makot, he says the Malbim. At the end, the guy is gonna be beaten up. Says was Mevaya Rabbi David Elaluf. It's not when we talk about makot, mamash. It's like people get so aggravated and frustrated that they react physically with that person. Meaning, the Gaon wants to address how far the Ksil can go. It's not that the person has no choice but to become physical. It's coming to tell you that if you don't know when to stop with the Ksil will get you to a place where you're going to lose control over your body. And you're going to react physically. The Ksil never stops. Yes? He keeps on poking and poking and aggravating and poking and poking and attacking and attacking and attacking until the person becomes Meshuga. And the person reacts. This is the nature of the Ksil. On the flip side, yes, the Gaon says, rest assured that the Ksil does not only, yes, brings makot to himself, brings like physical, pain to himself by being beaten up by the person he's constantly poking. But also he brings upon himself, yes, dermatologic sicknesses, skin sicknesses, because of his words. He says this is because what the Shlomo says, Siftei Ksil, the lips of the Ksil, which is his mouth, right? We have the Ksil, we have the lips of it, and we have the Piv, right? So you have the lips and you have the mouth. We have so he says the lips are what formulates, yes, at what instigates the problem all the time. The peeve and the content of what he says, the content, he says this is always Lashon Hara. Yes, the person will always speak bad and always attack, and then he goes to this one and speaks bad, and goes to that one and speaks bad, and we know that what is the punishment of Lashon Hara. The Gemara in Ayarachin says, "Al shiv'a devarim negaim ba'im," right? The negaim, right, like leprosy or skin disease, come for 7 reasons, and one of the reasons is Lashon Hara. So Piv says Gaon, Shlomo HaMelech is referring to the Lashon Hara of the Ksil. Yikra, and he calls Mahalumot. And Mahalumot, what is the physical pain? Is the skin disease that the person suffers from, Yikra, that was called from his mouth. Meaning the Ksil punishes himself physically by all the Lashon Hara and all the bad things that comes out of his mouth. So, yes, there is a dual punishment that the Ksil inflicts upon himself. Punishment number 1, that at one point, the person that he's attacking is going to snap, it's going to hurt him. And the second, the content of his mouth, of his words, yes, brings upon that person skin disease. What I would like to highlight from that pasuk is, like we said earlier, is that the ksil has nothing to lose. So the ksil will keep on going non-stop. Yes? So essentially, who will stop? Not the ksil. It's or you stop the ksil, yes, or the person tells, puts an end to that relationship and to that abuse, or the ksil will continue. Yes, and then you'll have no choice but to stop, because you'll lose control over it, and you'll have to react. Here Shlomo HaMelech brings this new dimension, this new facet of the Ksil. Any question on that pasuk? Pasuk Zayin. And we spoke about his mouth, right? Mahalumot ikra. Shlomo HaMelech continues, Pi kesil mechitalo. So the mouth, right, of the Ksil is his own rune. Usefatav, and his lips, mokesh nafsho, is a trap to his nefesh. So you see that pasuk Zayin is a continuation of pasuk Vav. Yes. Now we have more depth to the piv and to the sefatayim. So says the Gaon, Shlomo HaMelech reiterates that through the mouth, pi ksil mechitalu brings the runes, right? Brings the pain and the destruction of the ksil. ועל ידי שפתיו, that's what ושפתיו, היה מוקש נפשו, right? Through his lips, through his motivation, through the effort that he puts, yes, with his mouth, he sets traps for himself to fail and to get hurt. Meaning that the ksil is not careful. The ksil makes mistakes. Yes? And the mistakes that the ksil makes end up becoming traps for him to fail and fall. So the chacham will look for those mistakes that become traps to make the ksil fall, which brings the ksil to the behavior of ksil to an end, at least with that person. Because once the ksil falls, he cannot continue. But when he falls, mehitalo. When he falls, that breaks the ksil. So there is like a nuance in what Shlomo HaMelech is telling us, is that if you want to stop the ksil, be careful with the mistakes that the ksil makes, and use them as a trap for him to fall in it and hurt himself, so that he can no longer continue to behave like a ksil, which is to be poking and hurting and speaking lashon hara, yes, continuously, and OCDing on somebody. And the Gaon continues, and he says this is the parallel lesson to what David HaMelech taught us in Tehillim. David HaMelech said, "Mi ha'ish hafetz hayim, אוהב ימים לראות טוב, אוהב ימים לראות טוב, נצור לשונך מרע ושפתיך מדבר מרמה," pasuk that we all know. We know that the Ra, right, is the opposite of Tov. Ra comes from where, says the Gaon? The Ra comes מהלשון. The Ra, the bad is the content. The mirma, yes, the manipulation comes with the lips. The lips will twist the content, yes, but essentially, yes, the Ra is hidden in the mouth, in the content that is being said. Says the Gaon, and we know, because we have learned the Ra and the Mirma, he says we know that the Ra is the absolute bad, the bad that you see, that you identify, right? The Ra is so there's nothing hidden in the Ra. The Mirma is the one that hides, yes. So says the Gaon, so too in the punishment of the Ksil. The Ra is obvious, so he will be punished with what's obvious. Dehainu. He says that's mehitalo. The Ra of the content of the Ksil brings to the Ksil, yes, Ra'ot, yes, distress and pain. Where? B'mamon, in his money, and other endeavors. So the Ksil, yes, that's the Ksil doing to himself, yes, the Ksil doing to himself, because the Ksil speaks lashon hara, yes, and speaks bad. So in the bad, which is the content of what he says, and we know that the bad by default is what is clear expression of the bad, right? It's not hidden. So the pain will also not be hidden, and it will be felt through what? Through the loss and the challenges of his money, and also the failure of his activities. And that's clear Ra.
What's the connection to money here?
Because this is what you can see, and you cannot go and dispute that, or it's when lo alinu somebody, we're not talking about somebody that's tzaddik veralo. When it's rasha veralo, yes, it's clear that the Ra is felt and is identified, right? How do you identify somebody's pain? The pain comes so through the mammon. The mammon is the nefesh adam, right? It's what's close to him. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu will make the pain felt, yes, in a very clear way. Says the Gaon, and the guy says, "Shemevi raot alav b'mamon," right? Ubeshar devarim, meaning not his behavior, his endeavors are failing, and his mammon is being lost. And this is a direct punishment of the ra that is in the content of the speech of the ksil, of the behavior of the ksil. Okay? But it doesn't stop there, says the Gaon. That's the P. That's the Ra. What about the Mirma? What about the Mirma? What about this manipulation? What is the hidden midah keneged midah that Kadosh Baruch Hu brings upon the ksil for his mirma?
Is the Ksil manipulative? I thought he was just not.
In his lashon hara, there, yes, because that we say that again, the mirma not here. It's not only not manipulative in a vicious way, right? But in pushing his agenda, yes, and hurting the other person, and by talking to about him to others, yes, to get what he believes is his.
Is he doing it purposefully, or is he
Yes,
doing it because he's
purposely,
stupid
purposely.
and he's not intelligent?
Correct, but he's not not in the same
Mirma
malicious
is
way
like
that
is purpose. Mirma is like
can can
manipulatively
yes, but
purposefully.
yes, but there is an element of mirma in the way the ksil comes to attack. Yes, he although it when he goes and he says lashon hara, yes, he's going to say it in a way to get people to believe what he says. Because if he says only ra, people are not going to believe him. Yes. What do you mean? This guy is a tzaddik. This guy is a good man. Why are you coming and telling me that he's ra? I know the person. So you cannot say it. So you're gonna have to say it in a way that it's believable. Yes. So in that hybrid, in that formation of Ra that is being delivered by the Ksil, you find a content which is Piv, which is the Ra, and the Sefatayim, which is Mirma. So says the Gaon, for the Ra, the Midah Keneged Midah is Ra, is direct attack to make him feel the pain through, very interesting what the Gaon says, through the loss of his money and failure of his endeavors. And for the Sefatayim, says, what does Shlomo Amelech says? Usfatav mokesh nafsho. His lips, yes, are trapped to his life. Says the Gaon that the mirma brings that person directly to its death. Meaning the mirma sets the path of that person to do mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, so that suddenly that person is on instead of being on the path of life, now the person is sent on the path of death, and the death is hidden because you never see it. When the death comes, you're not expecting it, right? And that's the mirma. The mirma is the twist. Yes, you want to twist the bad so that it's tolerated, it's accepted, it's believable, if it's believable. Yes, but at the end there's bad. So too here, the person is on a path. Yes, he puts himself on a path that at the end is bad, but only at the end. And what is the end? What is the hidden outcome? Is mita, mavet. It when you apply that formula of the Ram of the Gaon in the behavior of a real ksil, yes, in a relationship that is toxic, you will see how accurate and prophetic the Gaon is.
Say that again, please.
I said when you apply that formula that of the Gaon in a relationship that you have with a ksil, yes, you will find that what he says is so accurate and prophetic. It's like a prophecy. Mamash. You'll see that no matter what the Ksil does, will fail in his actions and will be always in pain with his money. Yes, mamash, mamash. And who is the ksil? The person that comes after you all the time, like that nudge you, pain, pain, pain. That looking to fight. That's always looking for problems. That's always looking for the machloket. Not saying that everybody's like this, yes. And again, that is a facet of the ksil, yes. But that's if you see that behavior, yes, look after the symptoms, and you will see those symptoms are real. It's incredible. And we're clear on that pasuk.
Can you give me, sorry, Rabbi, can you repeat the pasuk that you quoted from Tehillim before when you were talking about David the
Mi
Melech?
ha'ish echafetz chaim, who is the man that desires life, or heavy yamim that loves days, lir'ot tov, to see good, yes, that live a good life. Netzor leshonecha mera, yes, hold your, yes, guard your tongue from speaking from bad. Usfatecha, and your lips midaber mirma, from talking mirma, twisted things, manipulative words. So here
Thank
you
you.
see that that if, when you don't have that, you have Haim and Yam and Oev Yamim Lirot Tov. When you don't have that, when you have Lashon Hara, yes, and Mirma, yeah, Lashon when you have Lashon Hara and Mirma, that's exactly the opposite. Yes, it's it's Mavet and Ra, not Lirot Tov, Lirot Ra.
Thank you.
Pasuk Chet. The Shlomo HaMelech continues now to dive into the mamash de Lashon Hara. Divrei nirgan kemitlahamim. The words of the nirgan, the person that always does machloket, kemitlahamim, they're painful. They bruise you. Vehem ken yardu hadre baten, and they will penetrate all the way into the depth of the of the beten. Says the Gaon, Shlomo Melech is referring again to words that are said to create machloket, to create a riv, to create a quarrel. That's the nirgan. And the person will go and say things that are very hurtful, painful, that are poking that are penetrating the depth of the body of the person. Mama, he says like as if it's swords that are like sakinim, like yes, knives that somebody is putting inside someone's body. And kemit lahamim, they're like makot laguf. It's like your body is being punched. Not only that, ve'em yardu chadre baten. They will go all the way to the depth of the organs of the person. Says the Gaon, Dibur hara, bad speech, de לשון הרע, קשה לאדם יותר מהכאה, is more painful than physical pain. Because when you get physical pain, it's the body. Yes, eventually it passes. There's a cure. But when you hurt the nefesh, yes, that has no cure. You cannot undo or forget words, bad words that are being said, painful words that are being said. When you hit somebody, when somebody gets hit, gets punched, he gets. Okay, so he broke a bone. The bone gets fixed, finished. But words, you cannot undo words. That's what he says. What Shlomo says. V'hem yerdu hadrevaten. The words penetrate the inner depths of a person. V'hem kashim yoter mimit. They are more painful. They are more painful, yes, than physical bruises. Why is that? Because words that are felt emotionally, the nature of man is not to forget it. Men do not forget, individuals do not forget words that triggered emotions. That's a rule of thumb in the nature of men. For that reason, says the Gaon, or with that, not for that reason, but with that yesod, says the Gaon, we can now understand a Gemara. At the end of Masechet Brachot, in Perek HaRoeh, the Gemara brings a story that the Chachamim had to appoint a new Rosh Yeshiva. And there was two candidates, Rav Yosef and Rava. Rav Yosef Sinai, Rava Oker Harim. What does that mean? Rav Yosef Sinai knew all the Torah. He knew the Torah as it is. Sinai remembered everything. Rabba Oker Harim. Rabba ya mepulpal. You tell him something and he builds and he takes down and he rebuilds and he takes down. He has like those brilliant minds that know how to dive, yes, into the depth of the Chokhmah and build and bring out Hidushim non-stop. So they went to the Chachamim. They said, what should we do? That was in Bavel. They sent a question to Eretz Israel. Yes? They said, Bavel, we're in Bavel. We need to appoint a new Rosh Yeshiva. Who should we go for? And who should we take? So the Chachmei Eretz Israel answered, Sinai Adif. Go for the one that knows more knowledge than the one that has a deeper brain. Okay. The Gemara says that that was Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef was, the Chachamim came to Rav Yosef, they want to appoint him to Rosh Yeshiva. Rav Yosef spoke to an astrologist. And the astrologist told him that he will only rule for 2 years. So Rabbi Yosef got scared because he said, I'm going to become Rosh Yeshiva 2 years. And we know the law that there's no Rosh Yeshiva that comes in unless the other Rosh Yeshiva passed away. So Rabbi Yosef understood that if he takes the role of Rosh Yeshiva, in 2 years he's going to die. So he said, no, I don't want. He said, give the honor to Rabbah. So Rabbah became Rosh Yeshiva, and Rabbah became Rosh Yeshiva 22 years. After 22 years, Rav Yosef was still alive, Rabbah passed, and the yeshiva was given to Rav Yosef, who lived 2.5 years, ve'alach. The Gemara just says that during those 22 years, Rav Yosef was so scared, yes, that even when he was sick and he needed to call a doctor, he needed to go to the doctor, he would never call the doctor to come to his house. So that he doesn't benefit from the kavod of the potential Rosh Yeshiva title. He would go to the doctor, not the doctor come to him. Anyway, that's the story of the Gemara. Says the Gaon, Now we understand the secret of Rav Yosef. How did Rav Yosef was able to learn all the Torah and never forget anything? Because we have a klal that when words trigger an emotion, you never forget it. Rav Yosef was learning Torah with so much emotion in every hidush that he had that he would never forget it. That was the secret of Rav Yosef. This is a lesson in Limud Torah. If you want to remember the Torah that you're learning, yes, try to trigger an emotion about what you're learning. And that emotion will be the point of reference that you can relate to every time you want to have access to that knowledge. And that's how you become Sinai. That's the hidu. That's what the Gaon will come also. Agav, like on the way, on the go, on the go, came to teach us. So in Pasuk Het we have Mamash Yesodot in Shmirat HaLashon, okay? That bad words, Lashon Hara, that's also Lashon Hara is so critical because when you say Lashon Hara, people don't forget it. Yes, you can prove them that it's not true, but at the end, they don't forget what was said. They don't forget it because it triggers an emotion. You understand? That's the chumrah. That's the chumrah of lashon hara. That instead of using your lashon to trigger an emotion of simcha and of Torah, you trigger an emotion of pain and tsar that also never goes away. Yerdu hadre baten. The bad words go all the way to the depths of the essence of the person.
Does the same process occur in the positive way?
That's what we said. That's Sinai.
Okay.
That's exactly the point. That's what Sinai is about. When you trigger an emotion of Torah, yes, so it stays with you. Says the Gaon, that's how Rav Yosef became Rav Yosef.
That's the power of a good compliment. Maybe.
Exactly. נכון.
It's incredible that Rav Yosef made his decision based on speaking to an astrologer.
Yeah, that's זה, נכון. זה, בוא, חוכמה בגויים תאמין. נכון. זה, that's a קושייה on the side. נכון. נכון, זו שאלה טובה מאוד. מה פתאום that... Boy, he lived, you see, the Gemara says, and you see that he did live. He outsmarted the system and lived an extra 22 years. טוב. זה שיעור בפני עצמו, תאמין לי.
Yes,
I have a whole shiur on that question, on that specific question.
Baruch Hashem.
So can we have to go. Oh. Can you do one more pasuk? Or but we can okay, we can stop here. It's not connected to okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we just finished pasuk Het.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Chazak Baruch.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Chazak Baruch.
ברוכים תהיו.